Scholastic Audio presents The Doomfire Secret, Celestial Mechanism Cycle 2 by Annaliese Avery, read by Nicola Barber. Roach had jumped out of Violetta's study window as he had heard Paisley enter the library. He'd caught a quick glimpse of her through the half-open study door, followed by Corbett Grubbins and Hal Northman. As Roach made his way around to the front of the house, he remembered having first seen the Krigare when stealing Soulfire in the Northern Realms. The giant fire diamond had been used to power the region through the harnessing of the stone's intrinsic electrica energy. Although Soulfire was not exactly a fire diamond, it was in fact 1/4 of the Heartstone, which legend said was once the heart of the great dragon Anu. Anu, the mother dragon from whom all other dragons came, the dragon whose breath had forged the unseen tracks of the celestial mechanism at the command of the chief designer. Roach wasn't sure about the validity of the myths, but the dark dragon was. She was thousands of years old and was once one of the 4 soul sisters, protectors of the Heartstone, the essence of the soul of the great mother dragon Anu. After the dark dragon tried to deceive her sisters and claim the Heartstone for herself, it was broken into 4 pieces and scattered across the world. She had been searching for the 4 pieces ever since. It was the dark dragon who had bid Roach to steal Soulfire from the Northern Realms, which was where he had first become acquainted with the Krigare, Hal Northman. Roach was sure that there was a score that would need to be settled between the 2 of them. The Krigare had lost his eye by the time Roach had taken Soulfire, but not his dragon. Hal had then been head of the Krigare, and it was under his watch that Roach had committed his theft. However, it was a turn in the mechanism that had led the dark dragon to a second piece of the Heartstone, in the care of Violetta Fitzwilliam. Roach had reached the front of the Fitzwilliams' house when he heard Paisley shout his name. For a moment, he paused and imagined Paisley, her flame-twist hair flying as she called. Roach shook his head and started walking away from the house. He was sure that Paisley had found the journal, and within it, the destiny token the Master of Stars had made at the Dark Dragon's request. The Master of Stars had been resistant, the old mechanist arguing that it was irregular for anyone to receive a second set of stars. But, as always, the Dark Dragon won in the end. Roach adjusted the collar of his fine coat as the thick wool irritated his neck, and from the pocket he pulled a small tin. He opened it to reveal a swarm of sleeping cockroaches and a small electrica display. On the display was a solid dot. Roach stood at the end of the street and watched the house as he held the tin and sent out his intention. He'd found that the cockroaches responded better when he tried to empty his mind and think only of what he wanted them to achieve. He focused on how he would feel when the cockroaches had done his bidding, and after a few moments, a small glowing dot broke from the single dot on the screen and started moving away from it. Roach knew that the stationary dot belonged to the cockroaches that were deep in the pockets of his other coat, the coat that Corbett Grubbins was now wearing. The single moving dot had split in 2. They belonged to the cockroaches he had just stirred into action. He heard them before he saw them, the quiet whirling of their electrica-fed clockwork wings, 2 of them carrying between them a photogram of his sister, Clara. Roach waited for them to land in the tin before he took the photogram, stroked it, then placed it safely into his inside pocket. He glanced down and saw that there were 4 dots on the display now, each one representing a cockroach that he had given an intention to. They would now do everything they could to stay with Paisley, Odelia, Hal, and Corbett. Roach watched the dots for a moment, then snapped the tin shut and went on his way. He had an appointment, and the George was not a man who you kept waiting.